Shakespearean sonnets. If you listened to the podcast and reviewed the review material before, you know that Shakespearean sonnets are about love. Shakespearean sonnets are a type of sonnet, a type of poem that was made famous by Shakespeare, and they follow 3 strict rules. This is not like the free verse poetry of modern times. These are very strict rules where the poet has to express themselves by abiding by them. The first rule is that each Shakespearean sonnet has 3 quatrains and 1 couplet. You might be thinking to yourself, hold on, Miss Krinsky, what is a quatrain? Miss Krinsky has made a Quizlet for you for this sonnet vocabulary, so you might want to check that out. But quatrain, if we look really at the root word quat, we know that quat reminds us of quattro, which means 4. So really a quatrain means 4 lines. They're kind of a group of 4 lines that relate to one another. And if there's 3 quatrains, that means that this is 1 quatrain. There are 2 more. So there are 3 groups of 4 lines. This can be quatrain 1, quatrain 2, quatrain 3. Finally, there's 3 quatrains, but there's 1 couplet. At the end of each sonnet, we have 2 lines that relate to one another. This is couplet. This is just the 1 couplet that exists in the sonnet. So we've talked about the quatrain and the couplet. Let's talk about the structure of each line. So we have 3 groups of 4 lines and 2 down here. So that's 14 lines. Each line has the same structure, and they follow that structure. The structure is called iambic pentameter. Again, you should totally check out the Quizlet that's available to you that will talk about what a couplet is, what a quatrain is, and also what an iambic pentameter means. Iambic is a syllable combination. In English, we have lots of different symbol combinations. And this one goes unstressed and stressed. Think about the word goodbye. That is a classic iambic syllable combination. We say good, we're not stressing anything, and then we really do stress the bye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Have a nice day. We are stressing bye. We leave the first part of the word unstressed. This also is true in the word hello. Hello, how are you? We stress the second part of the word. It's very common in English. So, iambic means kind of a group of syllables that goes unstressed, stress, and pentameter means 5, really, per line. So we have 5 iambics per line. Each line goes unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, stressed. So that happens in each line, all the way through each quatrain and the couplet. Well, this is really important because it's what makes sonnets famous. When we combine iambic pentameter together, each line has a bit of a rhythm. The line will read ba-da, da-da, 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 da-da. This is what makes sonnets and Shakespearean sonnets extremely popular. Now let's move on to our rhyme scheme. Each song, each poem has a rhyme scheme. Some are more obvious than others, and a Shakespearean sonnet has a very classic rhyme scheme. The rhyming switches off with each line. In each quatrain, the first line, the last syllable of the first line, always rhymes with the last syllable of the third line. The last syllable of the second line always rhymes with the last syllable of the fourth line. This goes through each of the quatrains This goes A. We call this an A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F. And then the couplet does not switch off. The last syllables of the couplet rhyme together, so we name that G, G. Each syllable is unique, so we name it by by a letter. So these last syllables rhyme with each other, and no other last syllable of the sonnet. Let's see these 3 constraints in action. This is the same sonnet that was in the podcast, so you should be familiar with it. I also offered a paraphrase on this side to help you work through what this sonnet means. Sonnet 18 is so famous. It is either known as Sonnet 18 or Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day. It is a love poem. First, let's talk about structure. Can you find the 3 quatrains in the 1 couplet? The couplet's the easiest to find. It always goes at the end. So here we have a couplet right here. And let's see if you can find the other quatrains while I do. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. This follows the quatrain and couplet structure. This quatrain really is comparing, it's asking his lover if he should compare her to a summer's day, but he kind of guesses himself because actually the person he loves is more beautiful than a summer day. Quatrain 2 talks about, Quatrain 2 talks about how nature, the ebb and flow of nature, and how the sun rises then sets, and nature's constantly changing. But Quatrain 3 talks about how his lover's beauty does not fade, and it is eternal. Oh my goodness, it's eternal. And the last couplet says that it is eternal just like this poem is eternal, and that his love for her is eternal. Each quatrain is about his love. However, they are distinctly different. They have different ideas that he wants to express, though they're related. So let's now look at the individual lines. I will read the first 2 out loud, really stressing the iambic pentameter. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Let's see. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. There are 5 iams, the stressed and unstressed couple in each line. And it really does give the poem a rhythm, which makes it easier to memorize and recite. Now, let's analyze its rhyme scheme. Day does indeed rhyme with the last syllable of the 3rd line, may. So we will label those A. Temperate, if we pronounce it and we flourish with that pronunciation, it does rhyme with date. Shines rhymes with declines. Dimmed rhymes with untrimmed. Notice that we shorten the words to make it fit the stressed and unstressed. Fade does rhyme with shade. Oust with grouse. And see and thee, of course they rhyme. This shows that Sonnet 18, the most famous of the sonnets, of course coincides and follows the 3 criteria of what makes a Shakespearean sonnet, but also it proves that one can express themselves artfully, clearly, and with style when constrained. Please see the directions for your assignment tonight on how you will use your new knowledge of sonnet structure and show mastery that you understand sonnet structure. Enjoy!